And we are live. At least we should be. Let's see who is gonna be first to join today. Another 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. slot. Let's have a look. Are we up? Are we live? Let's see. Nobody on the YouTube yet. There we go. It's showing up on the TikTok. Beautiful. Oh, let me turn that down. Okay. Guys, let me know on the TikTok. Can you hear me? Are we live? What's popping? Kay says first to join. Welcome, Kay. Can you hear me? Let me know. A few more people on now. Jay Lloyd says yes. Jay Lloyd, how you doing, my friend? How's your day been? Guys, let me know. Is everything clear? Millie says non-calculator question mark. Yep, today is a non-calculator paper, Millie. We're going to be doing the June 2018 Paper 1 AQA. Chelsea Till I Die is in the chat. HG's in the chat. Love to see it. Welcome, everybody. The dog is already knocking on the door to try and come in. Joel Fassi says, let's do this. Guys, I'm just going to let the dog in. Just give me 5 seconds, actually. Of course, right at the start of the stream, the dog can't resist it, can he? The dog can't resist it. Caleb says, hey, I'm new. Hello, Caleb. Welcome to the community. Millie said, should I not do this if I do calculator paper? I'm not sure what you mean there, but when it comes to AQA and Excel, right, there's one non-calculator paper and 2 calculator papers. So because you have your paper 1 next Thursday, the non-calculator one, we are practicing a paper 1 this evening. Amina said, tomorrow, can you go through a predicted paper? Guys, we're not going to be going through any predicted papers here. We stick to past papers. The truth with predicted papers, guys, is that nobody knows what's coming up. And predicted papers, for that reason, I tend to stay away from. Mary B says, I have my religious studies exam paper 1 tomorrow. I know a lot of you guys are kicking it off tomorrow with your first exam, RS. I'll talk a little bit at the end of today's session about a little bit of emotional stuff and exam performance stuff. Patricia says, hi, hello, Patricia. And she also said, when is the next EdXL? The next EdXL paper will be the night after tomorrow. Well, actually, the day before the biology, I'm not going to do a live, purely because I think pretty much everybody's going to be revising for biology. So the day before biology, I'm not going to be doing a live. So what's that? Tomorrow evening? Yeah, tomorrow evening, actually. But then I'll hop back on the next day. Let's have a look. Caleb said, how long are you on for? This session is going to be running from 7 till 9. We're going to do this whole paper. Nice to see we have 200 people on the TikTok at the moment. We're up to 5 on the YouTube. Welcome, Butchkey Bandit. Awesome. Good to have you again. Let's see. Steve Harris said, I've seen a paper on the maths exam where the examiner added up the marks wrong. LMAO, true story. Guys, there are definitely some big stories that come out of exam paper marking and all that kind of thing. Mr. Gilly said, have a good stream, bro. Thank you, my friend. Good to have you back. For anybody who doesn't know, Mr. Gilly was one of the founding class last year. So good to have you back, mate. Joe Goldberg says, it says you start at 5 p.m. at the bottom. Yep, normally we start at 5 p.m. This evening we're doing 7 till 9. Guys, the dog is trying his best to distract me. So if I do get distracted, I'm sorry about that. He's sitting next to me, lying down, trying to persuade me to pat him on the head. Donatia, let's have a look. Sam said, anyway, I can watch this later. Yep, you can. For anybody who doesn't know, all of the sessions we do together are recorded and uploaded straight to the YouTube channel. I'm also live on YouTube at the same time. Guys, I'm going to be starting in just a couple of minutes, probably 1 more minute, letting people join. And then we'll get cracking. Let's see. Libra B says, any tips for RE tomorrow? I'm stressing. I'm going to save all those tips for the end of the session. We're going to focus on the maths first of all. Then I'll be talking a little bit about exam performance. I told you guys I'd share a breathing technique with you, which I haven't done yet. So I'll share that with you at the end of today's session as well. Guys, drop ready in the chat if you're ready. And we'll get cracking. Let's have a look. Anybody ready? Libra B said, "How do I get my name in blue?" It should actually already be because I thought you were a mod already. I'll get that set up in just a sec. Okay, nice. Palm Tree is ready. AM's ready. Archie Mailer is ready. Caleb's ready. Stockport County, come on, is ready, guys. Question 1, 2, and 3 on the screen. 3 marks up for grabs. Gonna give you guys a few minutes to do these ones, and then we will be into it. Nice to see quite a few new people on the TikTok today. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. By the way, guys on the TikTok, let me know. Should I make myself smaller? Is it a bit jarring that my head's overlapping the paper? Let me know in the chat. So can as many people as possible please comment either smaller or stay the same? Let's see. Caleb said it's perfect. Zane said it's okay. Most people are saying stay. Okay, pretty much everybody's saying stay. Thank you for replying, guys. Really appreciate it. H really wants to know which one's harder, AQA or EdXL. The truth is, my friend, they are exactly the same. They are exactly the same. And the reason is because whenever there's a harder paper, the grade boundaries come down. Whenever there's an easier paper, they go up, right? So maybe one year the AQA paper might be easier than the EdXL paper, but then the grade boundaries are going to be adjusted to make up for that. Okay, guys, questions 1, 2, and 3 on the screen. I'm not going to give you guys too long for these. In fact, I'm going to go through them right now. Let's have a look. Question number 1. Just need to push my chair in without going over the dog. It says, work out the cubed root of 64 times by 1,000. Circle your answer. Guys, to find the cubed root of 64 times by 1,000, we're going to recognize that this is equal to the cubed root of 64 times by the cubed root of 1,000. What number do we times by itself and then itself again to get 64? We would times 4 by itself and then itself again to get 64. What do we times by itself? Sorry about that. And then itself again to get 1,000. It would be 10 because 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So we can do 4 times by 10, guys. 40 is going to be our answer. Hopefully that dog bark wasn't too annoying, guys. Question number 2. Congratulations to anybody who got that. Nicely done, AM. Nicely done to everybody who got that. Moving on to question number 2. It says the vector -2, 3 translates to AB. Circle the vector that translates to B to A. So guys, we're going to be looking at the vector which goes from our new point to our original point. This column vector represents a movement of 2 units to the left and then 3 units up. In order to reverse this, we're going to swap the positives for the negatives and the negatives for the positives. So the opposite to -2 would be our 2, and the opposite to our 3 would be our -3. So guys, it's going to be the vector over here on the right-hand side to -3. And that is going to be the opposite to a movement of 2 left and 3 up. Finally, guys, question number 3. Let's have a look at this one. It says, circle the expression that is equivalent to 3a minus a times 4a plus 2a. When we're simplifying this, guys, we're going to have to pay attention to BIDMAS. What does BIDMAS tell us? It tells us that we need to do our multiplication before we do that addition and subtraction. So we're going to start off by doing a times by 4a. We're going to have 3a minus a times by 4a is 4a squared. Then we can copy down that plus 2a. Now, guys, we're going to simplify the 3a plus 2a. That is going to give us 5a. Combining those like terms, and we can tag on our minus 4a squared. We get our answer, guys, of 5a minus 4a squared. To anybody who got that, top work. To anybody who didn't get it, hopefully the explanation made sense. There we need to apply BIDMAS. I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to be moving on to questions 4 and 5. 3 marks up for grabs here. And where can I find you, Libra B? I'm going to make you a moderator. Let's look. Your name should be in blue now. Add as moderator. Standard moderator. There we go. Hopefully, Libra B, your name's going to now change into blue. That's on the YouTube, by the way, for anyone wondering what I'm talking about on the TikTok. A few people asking when I'm next going to be doing EdXL. That's going to be in a couple of days. I'm live every day. I switch between AQA, EdXL, Higher, and Foundation. Today we're doing an AQA Higher paper. Question number 4 and 5, guys. I've given you a few moments to do these. How are we going to do them? Let's have a look. Question number 4 says circle the number that is closest in value to 9.8 over 0.0195. What we're going to have to do here, guys, is estimate the value and see which number it's closest to. So we're going to round that 9.8 up to 10. And we're going to round that 0.0195 to 0.02. Then, guys, we can rewrite this by turning the denominator of this fraction into 1. Then we're going to have some number divided by 1. Any number divided by 1 is itself. How do we get from 0.02 on the bottom to 1? We times it by 50. So we're going to do the same to the top. We're going to do 10 times by 50. 10 times by 50, guys, is 500. 500 divided by 1 is just 500. So, guys, we get 500 as our answer. Sorry about the dog barking there, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting. Question number 5, then. Let's have a look. It says solve 5 times by x plus 3 is less than 60. The question here becomes, how do we solve this inequality? What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to treat it just like we treat any other equation. We're going to start off by expanding those brackets. So we're going to do our 5 times by our x. That's going to be 5x. Then we do our 5 times by our 3. That's going to be 15. And we can copy down the less than 60. Now, guys, how do we get the x on its own? First off, we subtract 15 from both sides. We're going to get that 5x is less than 60 minus 15 is 45. Then how do we get the x on its own? At the moment, it's being multiplied by 5, so we divide both sides by 5, and we get that x is less than 9, which is 45 divided by 5. Hopefully that made sense, guys. Any questions, let me know. Libra B, nice to see that you're in blue now. Welcome back, Fire Stream. Welcome back, AMT. Good to have you, my friend. Somebody is saying it would have been easier to divide by 5 at the start, and then you have x plus 3 is less than 12. Yep, you could definitely also do it that way. Both ways are completely fine there. Both ways are completely fine there. Guys, next question, question number 6. 3 marks up for grabs here. I'm looking at the TikTok chat for the first time in a while. Hit me with any questions now, guys. Hit me with any questions now, and I will get back to you. And I'm just going to actually set up a very quick poll. And that poll is going to say, bang, should I zoom in? Oh, that didn't work, did it? Let's try again. Yeah, there we go. Okay, guys, there is now a poll in the top left-hand corner. If you see underneath the gaming ranking, there's that blue checklist-looking thing with a 4-minute 50 countdown timer on it. If as many of you as possible could please tick on that and vote for me, I would really appreciate it. Basically, the question is, do you want me to zoom in on the questions, or do you want me to leave it out? Do you want me to zoom in on the questions, or do you want me to leave it zoomed out? Normally, some people prefer me to zoom in. Some people will say keep it zoomed out. I think it's quite nice having the whole page on the screen, being able to see everything at once. But you guys let me know. I'm also using quite a big phone to look at this, so the way I see it's a little bit biased. Okay, 360 of us on the live at the moment. Lovely stuff. Let's have a look at the poll. We've got 60% of people saying keep the same and 40% of people saying zoom in. 60% are saying keep the same, 40% are saying zoom in. We're going to go with the majority. So at the moment, guys, we're going to be keeping it the same. Thank you to everybody who voted. I've got a little feeling the dog's going to bark again in a sec, guys. Hopefully he doesn't. Let's have a look. Question number 6. What does it say? It says the height of Zach is 1.86 meters. The height of Fred is 1.6 meters. Write the height of Zach as a fraction of the height of Fred. Give your answer in its simplest form. So, guys, we're going to have to write one number here as a fraction of the other. In this case, we're writing Zach's as a fraction of Fred's. So Zach's is going to go on the top. We're going to have 1.86 over 1.6. Now, we need to simplify this, giving it in its simplest form. Step number 1, let's get rid of those decimals. We're going to times the top and the bottom both by 100. That's going to shift the decimal point 2 places. And it's going to give us on the top 186. On the bottom, timesing it by 10 would give us 16. Timesing by another 10 is going to put a 0 on the end, so we get 160. Where do we go from there? Well, first off, by dividing by 2, we can simplify because they're both even numbers. What are we going to have? 186 divided by 2, guys, that's going to be 93. What about 160 divided by 2? That, guys, is going to be 80. Now we see that we have 93 on the top, 80 on the bottom. These two don't have any common factors, so we can't simplify any further, giving us our answer, guys, to question number 6 of 93 over 80. Guys, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. question 7. Now on the screen, 3 marks up for grabs. This one is quite a difficult one. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this one, just to make things a little bit clearer. And this, guys, you do not need the paper printed out to answer. So don't use that as an excuse not to do this question. You don't need the paper printed out to do this question. Guys, just give me a sec. I'm going to let the dog out the room so he doesn't do any more barking. And I'll be back in about 10 seconds. There we go. Woody's part in the live is now over and we can get back to work. Lena said, I haven't seen you since last year and you helped me get a 6 in my maths. Thank you so much. Hey, my pleasure, Lena. Glad that you ended up pulling through. Superb stuff, and welcome back to the community. NJ said, hi, sir. I just came to say hello to support the stream, but I can't stay due to RS happening tomorrow. Hey, no worries at all. Thank you for dropping by. Really appreciate it as ever. A few people are putting answers in the chat now, guys. A lot of people thinking it is 18/11. Let's have a look at this one. Question number 7, a tricky one here, 3 marks up for grabs. The question says that A is a 0.02 and B is a 0.65, and they are points on the straight line ABCD. We're then told that AB, which is this distance here, is equal to BC, which is this distance here, and that's also equal to CD, which is this distance here. We're asked to work out the coordinates of D. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to use the relationship between points A and B to work out the relationships between point B and C and D. We're going to use that relationship to then find the coordinates. Let's get it done. So first of all, how do we get from point A to point B? Well, in the x direction, we go from 0 units across to 6 units across. So we plus 6 in the x direction. Let's just make that pretty clear there. And what about in the y direction? We go from 2 units up to 5 units up. That's an increase of 3. So when we go from A to B, we go 6 units right and 3 units up. We know that all of the distances are the same between the points. So going from B to C, we go 6 units right and we go 3 units up. And going from C to D, we go 6 units right, speaking too quickly there, and 3 units up. So how can we work out the coordinates of D? Well, let's start at B. We're going to go 6 units to the right once, and then another 6 units to the right. So in total, we go 12 units to the right. We start 6 units across. So we're going to end up with an x-coordinate of 6 plus 12. Let's just put it like that. 6 plus 12. And 6 plus 12, guys, is 18. So the x-coordinate is going to be 18. Using the exact same logic for the y-coordinate, we start 5 units up, then we go 3 units up twice, so we go 6 units up in total. So our new y-coordinate is going to be our original point of 5 plus our increase of 6, which gives us 11. Guys, to anybody who got that right, congratulations. That was certainly not an easy question. Let's have a look. What's the chat saying? How do we find that, guys? How do we find that? Did many people get it? And did anybody take it from not being understood to being understood? Because that's what we're here for. That's the progress. That's the real money shot. Let's have a look. Kira says, yes, got it. Nicely done, Kira. Tilly said I got this one as well. Nice stuff, nice stuff. Guys, if you did get that one, congratulations. If you didn't, don't let it stress you out because that was a tricky question. 5 seconds to screenshot, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are on to question number 8. 2 marks up for grabs, so I'm not going to give you guys too long for this one. Let's see what we can do. Just give me 1 second, guys. Bingo, very nice. Let's have a look at the YouTube chat, what we're saying. Somebody said, didn't understand it before, but now I did. Hey, that's what we're here for, my friend. Good progress, good progress. Micah thinks it's 31%. I'm going to tell you that it's actually not. It's actually not. Guys, let's have a look. Not going to give you much longer. 20 seconds or so. And then I'm going to go through this one. Prodigy J thinks it's 62%. Let's see if Prodigy J is correct. A bunch of people are spamming the chat now. Let's have a look. What is the answer to question number 8? Question number 8 says that a coin is thrown 50 times and it lands on heads 31 times. We're asked to write down the relative frequency it lands on heads. Guys, how do we find relative frequency? We do the frequency of the thing that we care about divide by the total number of times that that thing could have happened. In this case, it landed on heads 31 times, could have landed on heads 50 times, so we get 31 over 50 as our answer. Anybody who thought it was 0.62, that is completely fine. You just wrote it as a decimal, that's completely fine. 62% would also be fine, and 62 over 100 would also be fine. Congratulations to anybody who got that. Next up, question 8b, let's have a look. Raj says, the coin is biased towards heads. Use the data to give a reason why he might be correct. The thing to understand here, guys, is that if the coin was not biased, how many heads would we expect? Well, we would expect 50% of our coin flips to land on heads because the probability of heads is a half. So we could say that we would expect 25 heads, and we got 31. That would be a reason to expect it's biased, guys. Why? Because it landed on heads more times than we would expect it to. If it was not biased, that, guys, is going to be our answer to this one. You could have also made reference to the fact that this is not equal to 0.5. That would have also been completely fine. To anybody who got that, good work. Moving on swiftly, question number 9 and 10 are on the screen. Let's have a look. Looking at the chat now as well, guys. Hit me on the TikTok. What are we thinking? Pucks said, I'm counting this as revision. My friend, this is definitely revision. This is definitely revision. To anybody who's thinking, maybe this is lazy revision or whatever, guys, there's no better revision you can do than a past paper. Of course, there's varying levels of engagement you can have. Some of you guys are doing this, have the paper printed out and are writing the answers down. That's kind of the top level. Some of you guys are lying in bed or sitting on the bus watching this video. That's probably a little bit less engagement, but it's still great revision. Still great revision. Guys, looking at the chat, any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go through question 9 and 10. Just giving you guys a couple more moments. Jamie said, me lying in bed. Yep, I know a lot of people are lying in bed. A lot of people are lying in bed. A couple of people are asking whether this is higher or foundation. This is a higher paper. I think Josh wins that competition. Josh wins that competition. Guys, question number 19. Let's have a look. The question says that the range of a set of numbers is 15 1/4. The smallest number is -2 7/8. We're asked to work out the largest number. Guys, how are we going to do this one? We're going to use the fact that the range is the difference between the smallest number and the largest number. So to get from the smallest number to the largest number, we can simply add on the range. So to find the value of the largest number, we can do the smallest number plus the range. We can do -2 7/8 plus 15 1/4. So we're going to do -2 and 7/8, or 7/8, I should say, plus 15 1/4. How do we add mixed numbers, guys? Step number 1, we're going to convert these into improper fractions. How do we do that? To convert -2 7/8, we're going to do 2 times by 8, which is 16, and then 16 plus 7, that's going to give us 23. So we can write this number as -23/8. What about 15 1/4? To convert this one, we're going to do 15 times by 4, which is 60. And then we're going to do 60 plus 1, which is 61. So we can write this as plus 61/4. Where do we go from there, guys? To add our fractions, we need to write them over a common denominator. At the moment, the left fraction is over 8, the right fraction is over 4, so we're going to convert the right-hand fraction into some fraction over 8. To do that, we're going to need to multiply the top and the bottom of the fraction, both by 2, so we're going to get -23/8 plus 61 times by 2, guys, that's going to be 122, and we're going to have it over 8. Now, -23/8 plus 122/8. Couple of different ways of thinking about this, guys, but the easiest way to do it is going to be to recognize that this is the same as doing 122/8 subtract our 23/8. Then, guys, how do we subtract one fraction from another? We subtract the top from the top and we leave the bottom. 122 subtract 23, guys, that's going to be 99, and we're going to have our answer, 99/8. So that's going to be our answer to question number 9. Quite a lot of legwork, I have to say. That one was quite a lot of legwork, but hopefully it made sense there. And some of you will have got 3 marks in the bag. Adam Donkin said, can you leave it like that? Definitely, absolutely. It doesn't say that you have to give it as a mixed number. So yeah, 99/8 is perfect. I'll just write that in there to be very clear. Okay, guys, question number 10 now. Are we ready for this one? Drop ready in the chat if you're ready. Kira said, got it right. Come on, Kira, good work. Josh said, what if you put back into a mixed number? That would also be completely fine. What would it be? It would be 12 and 3/8. It would be 12 and 3/8. Jamie said, ready, let's go. Aisha's ready. Nathan's ready. Okay, guys, let's have a look at question number 10. What are we going to do? The question says that y is inversely proportional to x, and we're asked to complete the table. We're given a value of x and a corresponding value of y, and then we want to find a value of y for a value of x, and a value of x for a value of y. What are we going to do? Guys, when we see that y is inversely proportional to x, what we know is that the relationship between y and x is such that y is equal to k over x. So this is the general form of the relationship between two variables x and y, which are inversely proportional to each other. What we can do is we can use these two values of x and y to find the value of k. That's going to give us our equation. Then we can find the corresponding value of y and x for these two. What are we going to do? So we know that when x is equal to 6, y is equal to 4. So we can say that 4 is equal to k over 6, substituting 4 in for y and 6 in for x. To get the value of k then, we can multiply both sides by 6, because at the moment k is being divided by 6. We're going to get that 24 is equal to k. Now we know that we can write the relationship between x and y as y is equal to 24 over x. We can use this to find the value of y when x is equal to 12. We're going to plug in the value that x is equal to 12, and we're going to get that y is equal to 24 over 12. That's 24 divided by 12. 24 divided by 12, guys, that's going to be 2. Superb work to anybody who got that one right. What about finding the value of x when y is equal to 8? How are we going to do that one, guys? We're going to substitute in this time that y is equal to 8, so we're going to have 8 equals 24 over x. Now we want to find the value of x. What do we have to divide 24 by to get 8? We have to divide it by 3. So that tells us that x is going to be equal to 3 when y is equal to 8. We could have also multiplied both sides by x and got 8x equals 24, then divided both sides by 8 and got an x equals 3. That would have also been completely fine. I just did it the quickest way. Guys, looking at the chat, M says, yay, congratulations, M. Salma says, oh no, I'm late. The good news is, I should say, not the good question. The good news is that you're here for the more difficult questions. Guys, giving you a few seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 11. 4 marks up for grabs here, and I would say this is a pretty difficult question. Guys, please don't spam the chat because you'll get muted pretty quickly. A few people asking me if I'm a Sigma. Not quite sure what you mean by that, mate. If you can describe what a Sigma is in the chat, then I can answer. Jamie said, this is where it goes downhill. Difficult question here. Difficult question here. Damian Priest, good to have you back. Let's keep good energy in the chat, guys. I'm only joking, guys. I do know what a Sigma is. I do know what a Sigma is. But the truth is, Sigmas can't comment on... yeah, guys, let's keep good energy in the chat. Otherwise people will get muted. 5 others on the YouTube. Good to see. 405 others on the TikTok. Awesome to see, guys. We're growing. We're growing. Guys, hello, Charlie. Good to have you, mate. Are we ready for this one? Drop ready in the chat when you're ready, and we'll talk about it. Let's have a look. Question number 11. Are we ready? Drop ready in the chat if we are. Zane says, yeah. Caesar's ready. Tay is ready. Alex is ready. Luck is ready. Guys, let's have a look at this one. Question number 11. It says that a large rectangle is made by joining 3 identical small rectangles as shown. We're told that the perimeter of one small rectangle is 15 centimeters, and we're asked to work out the perimeter of the large rectangle. What we're going to have to do, guys, is we're going to have to use what we can work out about the relationships between the smaller sides of our rectangle and the larger sides of our rectangle. What we're going to do is we're going to label the smaller sides of our rectangles as x. So that would make this x and this x. We can see from the diagram that the longer side of our rectangle is equal to 2 times the smaller side of our rectangle. So if each of these small sides are x, then the larger sides of our rectangle are going to be 2x. And we can write those in for all of the sides on our rectangle. The longer sides are 2 times the smaller sides because the longer side is here, and we have that equal to 2 of the smaller sides. We're then told that the perimeter of one of the small rectangles is 15 centimeters. So what we can do is we can set up an equation using what we've deduced about the sizes of the angles in a small rectangle. We know that if the smaller side lengths are equal to x, then the larger side lengths are equal to 2x. How do you find the perimeter of a shape? You add together all of the side lengths. And we know that if we add together those small shape side lengths, x plus 2x plus x plus 2x, we're going to have 15. Why? Because the perimeter of one small rectangle is equal to 15. X plus 2x is 3x, plus another x plus another 2x. We're going to get that 6x is equal to 15. Now, guys, we can divide both sides of our equation by 6 to get that x is equal to 15 over 6. This is a fraction that we can simplify. We can divide top and bottom both by 3. We're going to get 5 over 2. And going even further, if we want to, we can write this as a decimal of 2.5 because 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. What do we know now? We know that the value of x is equal to 2.5, and we want to work out the perimeter of the larger rectangle. Well, how many x's is equal to the perimeter of the larger rectangle? It's going to be x plus 2x plus 2x plus x plus 2x plus x. So we're going to have 3x plus 3x, which is 6x, plus 4x, that's going to be 10x. So we have 10x as the perimeter of the total rectangle, so we can do 10 times by 2.5, 10 by 2.5, guys, that's going to give us 25 as our answer. Guys, to anybody who got that one right, nicely done, good work. Going to give you guys 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to move on to the next question. Moving on to question number 12 on the screen now, guys. I've not been looking at the chat in a while. Hopefully everything's been running smoothly. Let's have a look. Guys, please no spamming the chat, otherwise you will get muted. Now I'm looking at the chat, so I will mute people pretty quickly. Let's see. I don't think Famalam Cuz is on tonight. And we do have quite a few of us on. So let's see. Oh, I just went off the stream myself. Okay, guys, giving you a couple of moments for this one. Let's have a look. Hey, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Luan. Somebody said you look like Alexander the Great. I don't even know what he looks like. That's a comparison I've never heard before. Question 12 and 13, guys. 3 marks up for grabs. Let's have a look. Okay, guys, just give me 1 second. Okay, back on it. Guys, question number 12, let's have a look. The question says, put these numbers in order from smallest to largest. Guys, the best way to do this is going to be to firstly convert them into decimals and then to compare them in their decimal form. So, how do we write 8 times by 10 to the negative 4 as a decimal? Because our power is negative, it's going to be a small number, and because the power is 4, we're going to have 4 zeros in our answer, so it's going to be 0.0008. We can think of this as moving the decimal point 4 places, because the power is negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, we get 0.0008. What about 4 times by 10 to the power of negative 2, guys? This time we're going to have 2 zeros in our answer, so it's going to be 0.04. 6 times by 10 to the negative 4, using exactly the same logic as for the 8, we're going to have 0.0006. That's going to be our answer to that one, and then we have 0.07 on the end. Now we can work out which ones are the biggest and which ones are the smallest by comparing each of the unit columns. So first off, we're interested in the smallest number. The smallest number, guys, that's going to be our 0.0006 because it has the most zeros along with the 0.0008, and 6 is smaller than 8. We're going to write it in its original form. That's going to be 6 times by 10 to the power of negative 4. Next up, we're going to have the 8 times by 10 to the negative 4 because of all of those zeros again. We have 8 times by 10 to the negative 4. Next up, we have our 4 times by 10 to the negative 2 because that 4 is smaller than that 7 and they're in the same place value column. And finally, we have 0.07 as our largest one, guys. Congratulations to anybody who got that. Nicely done. Nicely done, user 2442. What about on the YouTube? Anybody get that one? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Any questions, guys? Nicely done. Honey, good work, good work. Guys, question number 13, difficult topic, this one. Let's have a look. It says, circle the volume that is the same as 15 centimeters cubed. Does anybody know this one? Let's have a look. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Anybody got this one? Charlie thinks it's 15,000. Anybody else? Jasmine thinks it's 150. Somebody else thinking it's 150. Guys, let's have a look at this one. Question number 13. It says, circle the volume that is the same as 15 centimeters cubed. Here, guys, we have a volume conversion. How do we do our volume conversions? What we have to do is we have to do our regular conversion, but because we're raising it to the power of 3, we need to do that conversion 3 times instead of once. How would we go from centimeters to millimeters? What we would do is we would multiply by 10 because 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So when we go from centimeters to cubed, when we go from centimeters cubed to millimeters cubed, what we need to do is we need to do that conversion. We need to times by 10 3 times. So we're going to times by 10 once. That's going to give us 150. Timesing by 10 again is going to give us 1,500. And timesing by 10 again, guys, we're going to get 15,000, giving us 15,000 millimeters cubed as our answer to that one. The key here, guys, is when we convert in lengths, we do the conversion once. When we do the when we convert in areas, we do the conversion twice. And finally, when we convert in volumes, we need to do that conversion 3 times. Question number 14, guys. We're going to skip this one. I've actually done this question for you. So I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to screenshot this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the same for question 14b, and I'll explain why afterwards. So I've already done this question for you guys, giving you 5 seconds to screenshot so you can watch it in your own time. It explains it in what I've written. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to move on to question number 15. Now, the reason that we skipped number 14, guys, was just because it's a very specific question, really doesn't come up too often, and they take a lot of time, and they're not worth many marks. And I don't want to waste anybody's time on the stream. I know a lot of people would have left if we went through that one. So, yeah, I just thought I would skip it. I've written out the answer for you guys. Yeah, you could have a look at that if you're interested. Guys, I'm going to sit back for a couple of moments and relax, giving you time to do question number 15. I've been talking. Nicely done, Habs on the YouTube. Good to see. Jamie W said, I appreciate it. It means I can get to watching the football quicker. Yeah, I can respect that. I can respect that. Hopefully you guys can't hear my music in the background, by the way. Okay, question number 15. You guys ready for this one? Let's have a look at question number 15. It says that a biased dice is thrown. Here are the probabilities of each of the scores. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and our probabilities. We're then told that the dice is thrown 200 times, and we're asked to work out the expected number of times the score will be odd. So we want to work out the expected number of times that the score will be odd. How do we find the expected number of something? What we do is we multiply the probability of that event happening by the total number of times that it could happen. In this case, what's the probability that the score is going to be odd? Well, there's 3 different ways the score could be odd. We could either get a 1, a 3, or a 5. So to find the total probability of the score being odd, we're going to do probability of odd is equal to the probability of a 1, which is 0.25, plus the probability of 3, which is 0.15, plus the probability of a 5, which is 0.3. 0.25 plus 0.15 is 0.4. 0.4 plus 0.3, that, guys, is going to be 0.7. Finding then the expected frequency, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that probability of 0.7 by the number of times it could happen. We're going to do 0.7 times by 200. That, guys, is going to be 140. If you're not sure how to do that, what we could have done is we could have divided by 10 to find 0.1 and then times by 7. That would be a nice way of doing that. But if you're still not sure, consider revising your arithmetic. Guys, question number 16 and 17 on the screen here. Only 2 marks up for grabs. Going to have a look at the chat for the first time in a while. Who've we got on today? Many of the regulars. Let's have a look. And I'm just going to have another cough sweet, guys, because my voice is a little bit sore, I have to say. M says, is this non-calculator? Yes, this is a non-calculator. Tay said, I forgot to take a picture. Okay, I'm not going to be able to go back on this one, but if you have a look at the YouTube, this stream's going to be uploaded straight away. This stream's going to be uploaded straight away. And for anybody who doesn't know, we're actually live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. AMT, good to have you, mate. Good to have you. Ashton Harvard said, can you help me with a certain question? It's a specific type of graph. Hopefully it will be covered in one of the papers that we do. That's what I'll say. I tend to stick to past papers just because there's so many requests that it's quite difficult to go through specific things. But drop me a DM actually and let me know which topic it is and I'll think about it depending on which topic and how many people tend to struggle with it. Okay, quite a few people thinking it is 6 to 5. It's actually not. It's not 6 to 5. TV remote batteries coming in, saying it's 5 to 6. Jasmine thinks it's 5 to 6. Mia thinks it's 5 to 6. Guys, let's have a look at this one. What can we do? We're told that the value of y is 20% more than the value of x. And then we're asked to circle the ratio of x to y. The best way to do this one, guys, I would say, is to start off by writing out a simple ratio that links x to y. We know that the value of y is 20% more than the value of x. So if x is equal to 1, then y would be equal to 1.2. This is essentially the percentage multiplier for a 20% increase. This makes y 20% greater than x. Where can we go from there? We can write this as a whole number ratio. How can we get rid of that decimal on the 1.2? We can times both sides by 10. We're going to get 10 to 12. And then we can simplify this ratio. We can divide both sides by 2. We're going to get 5 to 6. That, guys, is how we're going to get 5 to 6 as the answer to that one. Nicely done to anybody who got that. Nicely done, TV remote battery. Nicely done, like Stefan on the YouTube. Good work, guys. Good work. Okay. Question number 17. Guys, drop it in the chat. Or drop ready in the chat if you're ready, I should say. I'm speaking so quickly today. Sometimes I end up skipping a word. Nice to see 400 of us on the TikTok as well. Things are starting to pick up, and it's awesome to see. A couple of people, as per usual, are asking my my GCSE results and my A-level results and that kind of stuff. I got 12 A stars in my GCSEs, and I got 3 A stars in my A-levels. In my A-levels, I did maths and further maths. A lot of people ask that as well. So yeah, I did maths and further maths in my A-levels. And yeah, they were my grades. Question number 17. What do we think, guys? Should we have a little vote? Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. What do we think? Somebody think Dynasty thinks it's top right. Billy Flowers is saying top right. Aiden's saying top right. Let's have a look. What do we think? Soph thinks it's top right. Guys, if you said top right, congratulations. You are exactly right. Now, why is the answer top right, guys? This is a question which involves the sine rule. The sine rule is a useful formula for working out missing side lengths and missing angles in non-right-angled triangles. We use it whenever we're dealing with 2 pairs of opposites, and in general, the sine rule is that A over sine A, oh, that's not it. It's that A over sine A equals B over sine B, where capital A and capital B are our angles, and lowercase a and lowercase b are our opposite side lengths. In this case, the question is basically looking out for us being able to identify that the side lengths need to be our lowercase letters. So the side lengths here are our x and our 15. And the angles, our uppercase letters, our angles need to be our uppercase letters. And it needs to be such that the lowercase and uppercase letters are in pairs of opposites. In this case, we essentially have lowercase a as x, we have uppercase A as 42, we have lowercase b as 15, and we have uppercase B as 104. That's why it's this one down here, guys. I don't think I explained that in the most direct way possible, but hopefully it made sense. Hopefully that one made sense. Basically, we need it to be such that our lowercase letters are our side lengths, and they are opposite the uppercase letters, kind of in pairs of opposites. Okay, moving on to question number 18, guys. 5 marks up for grabs here. Now, to this question, I've actually already written out the solution. It's on the next page, and I did that just because I wanted to write it in this space down here, so the question and the answer were on the same page. And to do that, you have to write very, very specifically and very, very small. So I do have the answer written out already on the next page. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to do it. Then I'm going to talk you through the solution, basically. I would say, guys, actually, this is a very important question. This is a very important question. You can see because it's difficult that a lot of people just dropped off. But this is an important question. Why? Because questions like this are super popular on paper 1. This is a particularly difficult one, I would say. This is a particularly difficult one. Nevertheless, it's fantastic for practice. And hopefully when I explain it, it will be pretty clear to people. Even though I will admit it's a difficult question. It's a very difficult question. Okay, looking at the chat for the first time in a while, let's have a look what people are saying on the TikTok. I do have a cough sweeten for anybody wondering what's kind of in my mouth. And just so you all know, at this point, there's not going to be a stream tomorrow because I have figured everybody will be revising for biology. Let's have a look. MYZ said, bro, I can do this one. I just need paper. Yeah, this is definitely a paper question. Definitely a paper question. Pudding said, is this helpful for people who do EdXL? Definitely, Pudding. Definitely. The AQA and EdXL papers are very, very similar. They're like 95% similar. I released my hot topics today as well, guys, and you can see that I didn't differentiate between AQA and EdXL because even the patterns in terms of the topics are similar. For paper 2 and paper 3, I'll separate them because it will depend on what topics come up in the first papers. But for now, very, very similar. Very, very similar. So much so that even the predictions are the same. Guys, I'm going to run a quick... Actually, no, I'm not going to run a poll for it. Just drop in the chat. Are you ready for this one? Drop ready in the chat if you're ready for this one. And we can talk about it. Lots of work for question 18. 5 marks up for grabs. Let's have a look. Jasmine's ready. Jake said, I don't know where to start. Elfie's ready. Anybody else ready? Let me know in the chat. Like Steven's ready. Nice little emoji as well. Okay, guys, putting the answer on the screen now. I am going to zoom in this far. Let me just check that that's all lined up and good. And I have done this, let me tell you, in a very, very direct way. I have done this in a very, very direct way. The reason was because I wanted the answer to be on the same screen as the question. That's going to make it way easier to explain, but I'll break this down for you guys and show you what I've done bit by bit. Let's first of all read the question. The question says that the diagram below shows the cross-section of a tunnel, which is this tunnel here. We're told that AD is a semicircular arc of radius 10. So this is a semicircular arc. We're told that BC is also a semicircular arc. This one has radius 7. We're told that the length of the tunnel is 30 centimeters. I'll just draw that on. So 30 centimeters going backwards. And we're asked to work out the total area of all 6 faces of the tunnel. And we're asked to give our answer in terms of pi. First of all, what are the 6 faces of the tunnel? We have the front face. That's one of them. We also have the back face, which is going to be exactly the same as that front face. They're going to be the two end faces here. We also have the two bottom faces, so this face here and this face here. That's going to be these two bottom faces. We have the outside curved face, which is this face here, and we have the inside curved face, which is this face here. Working through them in the order I've written them down in then. First off, the outside curved face. So to work out the area of this face, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to work out the length of this side here. So we're going to have to work out essentially the circumference of the semicircle, or I should say that arc length there, which is going to be half of the circumference of what the overall circle would have been. Then we're going to have to multiply that by our length. So what do we have? Here I've written that we have pi d over 2 times by 30. Where does that come from? Well, pi times diameter would be the circumference of the overall circle. So pi times diameter divided by 2 would be the circumference, or I should say the arc length, of that semicircle. Why do we multiply by 30? Because 30 is the length of that tunnel. We substitute in a value of 20 for the diameter. Why 20? Because we can see here that the radius of the circle is 10, which means that the diameter is going to be double that, which is 20. So we have pi times by 20 divided by 2 times by 30. Pi times by 20 is 20 pi, divided by 2 is 10 pi, 10 pi times 30 is 300 pi. So that is the outside curved face. What about the inside curved face? Well, here we're going to do exactly the same thing, but this time the diameter is going to be a diameter which corresponds with this circle here. So again, we're going to have half of our circumference times by our length. But this time, our diameter, well, our radius is 7, so our diameter is going to be double that, which is 14. We have 14 pi divided by 2 is 7 pi. 7 times by 30 is 210, so we get 210 pi as the area of that inside curved face. What about the two end faces? Let's have a look at what I've done here. So when it comes to working out the area of this end face, we can effectively think of it as the area of this whole semicircle, subtract the area of this smaller semicircle here. So how does that correspond with what I've written? So the reason I've multiplied it by 2 is because we have two end faces. And what about this pi r1 squared over 2 minus pi r2 squared over 2? So pi r squared, that's going to give us the area of what the bigger circle would have been if it was a whole circle. And we divide it by 2 because it's a semicircle. And then pi r2 squared divided by 2, r2 is going to be this smaller radius here. Again, it's divided by 2 because we have a semicircle. Substituting in our values, what are we going to have? Well, we have 2 times by. The area of that bigger circle is going to be pi times by 10 squared because the radius is 10 here. Then we're going to divide by 2 because it's a semicircle. And we do the exact same over here for the smaller circle. Pi times by 10 squared is 100 pi divided by 2 is 50 pi. Yeah, perfect. So sorry about that. Just clarifying what I did there. So we do our 100 pi over 2 minus our 49 pi over 2. That turns into 100 pi minus 49 pi is 51 pi. Then we have our 51 pi divided by 2, but we also times that by 2, so the times by 2 and the divide by 2 cancel each other out, and we end up with 51 pi. I just had to check my own working out there. So yeah, what we did there, let me just say that once more, is this is 100 pi. We take away 49 pi, that gives us 51 pi, and then we essentially have 51 pi over 2, but because we times it by 2, the times 2 and the divide by 2 cancel out, and we end up with 51 pi. Hopefully that made sense there, guys. Any questions, let me know at the end. Finally, working out our two bottom faces, these ones are the nicest two. We have two rectangles which have a width of 3 and a length of 30. So we do 3 times by 30, which is 90, times by 2 because there's 2 of them, we get 180. Final step, guys, is to add together our 300 pi, 210 pi, and 51 pi. 300 plus 210 is 510, plus 51 is 561. So we have 561 pi plus 180 as our answer. Guys, hopefully that made sense. Let me know in the chat. Let's see, like Stefan said, when you explain it, it makes it so much easier for me to understand. Thank you. Hey, my pleasure. That's exactly the type of comment I like to get. Very difficult question there. Let's have a look. Jenna Sheena said, yo, I've got my RE exam, so I can't stay for long. Good to have you anyway. Thank you for dropping by. A regular over there. Charlotte said, makes sense. Sophie said, made sense when you explained it. Guys, that's the sound of progress. That's what we're here for. We're not here to get every question right. Like I say, then it would be pointless. What we're here for is to, of course, get as many as we can, but ideally take as many things as possible from not being understood to being understood. That is how we make progress. So to anybody who understands that now, congratulations. Guys, I'm going to move on. Question 19 on the screen, and I'm actually going to do question 19 for you guys. I'm not going to make you do it, mainly because it's on 2 pages and because it's a graph question. So yeah, I'll do question 19 for you. Let's have a look. The question says that type A batteries and type B batteries were tested, and then it says the cumulative frequency diagram shows information about the battery life of type A. We have cumulative frequency on the y-axis and battery life on the x-axis. Then we're asked to estimate the interquartile range for type A. I'm actually going to give you guys 30 seconds to think about this, and then I'll go through it. Also because I want to change my music. Just give me a second for that. Giving you guys 20 seconds or so to think about it. There we go. Music's changed up as well now. Very nice. Okay, what do we reckon? Anybody have any ideas how to do this one? Aiden thinks it's 300. Lewis thinks it's 300. Guys, let's have a look. How are we going to find the interquartile range from this cumulative frequency diagram? What we're going to recognize is that the interquartile range is going to be equal to the upper quartile subtract the lower quartile. Now, what are the upper and lower quartiles? Well, the upper quartile is going to be 3/4 of the way through our data, and the lower quartile is going to be 1/4 of the way through the data. So, to find which person, or which battery, I should say, is going to represent the upper quartile, we're going to do 3/4 times by our total number of batteries, which is 80. 3/4 of 80 is going to be 60. So our upper quartile is going to be our 60th value. So we can read along and read down. We see that, I didn't really draw that perfectly, but we see that our upper quartile is equal to 1,400. We can do the same with our lower quartile. This time we're going to do 1/4 times by 80. 1/4 times by 80 is 20. So we can read across from our 20. And that's going to be associated with 1,100. So to find our interquartile range, we can do 1,400 minus 1,100. And that, guys, is going to give us 300. So our interquartile range is equal to 300. That was our upper quartile. Subtract our lower quartile. Nicely done, AH. Good work. Nicely done, Charles Butler, as well. Top work. What about question 19b? Question 19b says, estimate the number of type A batteries that had a battery life more than 1,600 hours. In this case, guys, we're going to have to find the cumulative frequency associated with 1,600 hours, and then we're going to look for the frequency above that. So we have 1,600 hours. We can then draw across to our y-axis. We can see that this is associated with a value which is 3 boxes above our 70. 5 boxes is equal to 10 units, so each of those boxes is going to be worth 2 units. That means that 3 boxes is worth 6 units, and we have 76 as our cumulative frequency. We wanted the number of batteries that had more than 1,600, so we're going to do the difference between our total cumulative frequency of 80 and that value 76. We're going to do 80 minus 76, which, guys, is 4. So 4 is going to be our answer to that one. 19b, answer is 4. Guys, what about 19c? I'll do this one as well, just because it's on 2 pages. Let's have a look. It says that the box plot shows information about the battery life of type B. On average, which type had the greater battery life, guys? To compare the averages, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to compare the medians of the 2 batteries. The median is one which is halfway through our data. the median on the box plot is going to be associated with this line here. So when we have a box plot, this is our lower value, this is our upper value, this is our lower quartile, this is our upper quartile, and this line here is going to be our median. So we can say in this case that our median is 1,300. What was our median for the first battery? Well, we had 80 values in total. The median is going to be halfway through them, so it's going to be our 40th value. We can read from here to our battery life, and we can see that it is about 1,260. 1,260. So we can say that the median for type B is greater. Using the data from both diagrams, state how you chose your answer. Let's say type B. Why? Because the median of B is 1,300. And what about the median of A, guys? We worked out that it was 1,260. Therefore, type B is greater. Guys, that's our answer to 19C. I'm going to move on swiftly so we can get cracking with question 20. Any questions in the chat, let me know. I've been slacking a little bit on the chat today. I've been focusing on the maths, but I am now going to be a little bit more chilled out and focus a bit more on the chat. This is a long paper, so I just wanted to get the first bulk of it out the way so that we could chill a little bit more. Yeah, Jake said, bro has a magic recipe to learning. Hey, that's so great to hear. That's one of my favorite comments ever, actually. That's really nice. Glory's here on the YouTube. Good to have you, my friend. Brad said, how many questions are there? There are 30, I believe. I'm pretty sure there are 30. I'll check after this question. Joke Man said, how's the live going? Very well, my friend. Very well. Well, I think it's going well. Everyone else is gonna have to comment on that, but yeah, I think it's going pretty well. We're gonna chill out a bit more now, reduce the pace a little bit. We're up to 8 o'clock. Ollie said, how long would you get to finish this test? The whole paper would be an hour and a half. Joke Man said, good to hear. Awesome. Ethan said, good. Sam Crossy said, absolutely generational. Come on. User 272. I actually do. If you could send me a DM, yeah, I actually do. Somebody said, is it good that I can do this in year 9? If you can do this in year 9, you're well ahead of the schedule. So yeah, it's really good. Glory said, how's your day today? My day today was pretty good, pretty good. I made a couple of videos for you guys. I made the predicted topics list. That took me a while to put together because I had to analyze quite a lot of information. And I also made the legendary exact trig values question. So if you've not watched that video yet, guys, make sure you watch that. Question number 20, guys. Drop ready when you're ready in the chat and we'll talk about it. Nice question, this one. Difficult, don't get me wrong, but quite a satisfying question. Man like on top said, can you do the question? Jamie Fearson's ready. Joe's ready. Anybody else ready? Laura's ready. Ethan's ready. Okay, guys, let's have a look. Question number 20. The question says that a linear sequence starts a plus 2b, a plus 6b, a plus 10b. The second term has a value of 8. The fifth term has a value of 44. Work out the values of a and b. What we're going to have to do here, guys, is we're going to have to set up a pair of simultaneous equations. Then we can solve those simultaneous equations to find a and b. First off, we know that our second term has a value of 8. This is our second term, so we can say that a plus 6b is equal to 8. Where do we go from there? We're also told that the fifth term has a value of 44, but at the moment we don't know that fifth term. So let's work it out in terms of a and b. We have a linear sequence, and we can see that to get from one term to the next, we add 4b. That's because the difference between these two is 4b, and the difference between these two is 4b. So to get to our next value in the sequence, we're going to add 4b. That's going to give us a plus 14b. And then to get to our next one, we're going to add another 4b. We're going to get a plus 18b. So just to make this clear, let me write it in. Plus 4b, plus 4b, plus 4b. Now we can set up our second equation. We know the fifth term has a value of 44. So a plus 18b has a value of 44. So we can say that a plus 18b is equal to 44. How, guys, do we solve these two simultaneous equations? Well, we can see that both of these equations have an a and a b in them, and we can see that there's already the same number next to the a in both of the equations. So what we can do is we can actually subtract one of our equations from the other, and the a's are going to cancel each other out. I'm going to turn the equations kind of the other way up, going to flip them, I should say, and we're going to subtract this second equation from the first. Why? Because we have a smaller number next to the b and a smaller number on the end, so it's just going to keep things nice and positive. Subtracting these, what are we going to get? A minus a, those two cancel out. 18b subtract 6b, that, guys, is going to give us 12b, and then we can do 44 minus 8, that is going to give us 36. Now we know, guys, that 12b is equal to 36. To find the value of b, what can we do? We can divide both sides by 12. We're going to get that b is equal to 36 divided by 12, which is 3. Now that we have our value of b, guys, what can we do? We can substitute this into either one of our equations to find the value of a. We know that a plus 6b is equal to 8. We can substitute in that b is equal to 3. We're going to get that a plus 6 times by 3 is equal to 8. Simplifying, we're going to have a plus 6 times 3 is 18 equals 8. Now, guys, we can minus 18 from both sides. We're going to get that a is equal to 8 minus 18, which is minus 10. Guys, we've got our answer. A is equal to minus 10 and b is equal to 3. That is question number 20. Done and dusted. Guys, if you got that one, congratulations. Very tricky question there. Let me know in the chat. Let's have a look. Did anybody get that one? Let's see. Ethan's saying one of those. So it looks like Ethan got it. Good work, mate. Anybody else? On top says yeah. Joe says yes. Nicely done. Question number 21. I'm going to give you guys a few moments to do this one. I'm not going to give you long for 21 because I know a lot of you don't have the paper printed off. But if you don't, make sure you have a think about it. Because this is one you can kind of think about in your head and imagine what you would get. So, yeah, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. 3 marks up for grabs here. So I'm not going to give you too long. And then I'm going to go through it, enlarging by a negative scale factor. Looking at the YouTube now, Charles Butler said, do you enjoy going live? I do enjoy going live very much, very much. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's a little bit tiring. Normally towards the back end of the stream, I do get pretty tired, but I really enjoy it. We've got a great community here. There's 220 of us at the moment in total across YouTube and TikTok. And yeah, it's absolutely awesome. We've got a lot of good energy here, So said, are you able to do further maths paper later down the line, please? I'm going to stick to regular maths on the social media. Joe said, what times do you go live and on what days? I go live every day, actually. Normally it's 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., which it should say about here. Sometimes I change it up and do 7 till 9. M says, I'm back. Good to have you back, M. Love to see it. Guys, question number 21. How would we do it? The question says, enlarge triangle ABC by scale factor -2, center for 1. And we can see that they've drawn on this center of enlargement for us. Guys, this is a topic which trips people up all the time. Let's have a look. What's the best way to think about an enlargement by a negative scale factor? What we're going to do is we're going to work out how we get from our center of enlargement to each of our individual points. We're going to multiply that distance by the scale factor to find how we get to the new point. So let's choose B first of all. How do we get from our center of enlargement to B? We go 2 units to the right and 2 units down. Multiplying that movement by -2. The distance is going to get twice as big, and the direction is going to change. So instead of going 2 units right and 2 units down, we're going to go 4 units left and 4 units up. So from our center of enlargement, 1, 2, 3, 4 units left and 1, 2, 3, 4 units up, we're going to get to this point, 1, 5. So we double that distance and we reverse the direction. What about from B to A? From the center of enlargement to A. At the start, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right. So we're going to double that and we're going to reverse it. We're going to go 4 times by 2, which is 8 units to the left. We're going to go 8 units to the left. It's going to take us here to -4. The way I did that, guys, was by realizing that we were at 4 here. We subtract 8, so we're going to end at -4. Finally, guys, how do we get from our center of enlargement to point C? We go 1, 2, 3 units to the right and 2 units down. We're going to double that, so we're going to go 6 units to the left and 4 units up. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units to the left and 4 units up. We're going to end up here, giving us our third and final point. Last step, guys, that's going to be to join our points with a straight line, or with straight lines, I should say, and this is the shape that we're gonna get. Congratulations to anybody who got that one. Very difficult question here, and we can see that because we've enlarged by a negative scale factor, not only has the size changed, but the direction has also changed. The direction has also changed. Guys, that was a very difficult question. This one trips people up all the time, so if you're stressing about the fact that you didn't get that one, don't worry too much about it. Very difficult question there. To anybody who did get it though, congratulations. Big congratulations. Question 22 is another difficult one. This, guys, is turning into a pretty challenging paper. Question number 22. Let's have a vote in the chat. Which one do we think it is? A, B, C, or D? Which one do we reckon, guys? Any ideas? A, B, C, or D? Let's have a quick vote in the chat. Laura thinks it's A or not B. Jasmine thinks it's B. Laura, C, T, C, AHC. Guys, to anybody who said C, congratulations. You are correct. It is C. Again, guys, difficult question here. So if you didn't get this one right, don't stress too much. How would we know that it's this? Well, the best way to attempt this question is going to be to use process of elimination and work from left to right and check which is the first one that would lead to us shading this area here. The first option says A and not B. So this is going to be the section which is in A and not in B. It's going to be this section here. This is a section which is in A and not in B, so this is going to be corresponding with this one here. Next up, we have not B. That's what this apostrophe means, by the way, guys. Not B, so it's going to be all of the region which is outside of B. It's going to be this region here. Next up, A or not B. So either it's in A or it's not in B. So either it's in A or it's outside of B. We can see how this would lead to us shading this shaded region. Finally, not A or not B. So either that would be the region which is either not A, so everything outside of A, or not B, so everything outside of B as well. That would be this section here, everything apart from this double center section. So that's how we would identify what A, B, C, and D are. In this case, guys, our answer would be C, because this is the region which is A or not B. Just to recap, that sign there, the N, means intersect, which is and this sign here means or. Moving on to question number 23, another difficult one here. I'm conscious, guys, that I didn't explain that previous one in as much detail as I normally would. That's because we've covered it on so many lives at this point. So feel free to watch one of the recordings if you're still not sure about that one. Okay, question number 23. Guys, not too many questions left today, and they're not very long either. One of them I'm going to do for you as well. Let's have a look. Hey, I think we're going to finish in pretty good time today. There's actually not too much left to do. Guys, we're certainly on the home straight. And then we have our party. Joe said, do you post these on YouTube by any chance? Yes, we do. Every single live that we do is posted straight away to the YouTube. I'm actually live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time over here. So yeah, nicely done Hassan, nicely done Habs, nicely done Charles Butler on that last one. Guys, a quick tip for question 23. The way that I would recommend doing this is set an initial price, kind of make one up. I would choose 100 and use that to think about what the overall decrease is as a fraction. That's going to be my hint. PTN said, how old are you? I'm 23. Oh, is it? Can you hear me swallowing on the mic? I didn't even know I was swallowing. I get a little bit of a dry mouth, I think, because I'm speaking so much. I'll take a sip of water. Oh, Jake said, no, we can't either. Or maybe some of you can. I guess it probably depends on the volume. But I can't imagine how that would be quite annoying, to be fair. Somebody said, do you do foundation? Yep, I switch between AQA Edexcel, higher, and foundation. Anna said, now you've mentioned it, I did hear the breathing. Yep, guys, now I'm aware of it. To be fair, I didn't even think of it before. Okay. Bestie said, I feel bad now. Sorry. Thanks for everyone helping with maths. Hey, don't feel bad at all. Don't feel bad at all. I'm actually really grateful for any feedback. I know a lot of people think kind of negative feedback and things to change is a bad thing. I actually take it as a really good thing because at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is get a little bit better. So, yeah, any negative feedback, I actually really appreciate. Even people who try and like put me down from it, even then it's still beneficial because, you know, I don't really care when people say like silly stuff. That was obviously not silly. That was very nice, genuine feedback. So thank you. But you see what I'm trying to say. Couple of people saying, do you do A-level? I actually don't do A-level. Guys, let me go through question 23 here. Let's have a look. Well, I do tutor A-level, but I don't do it on social media. Question 23. It says that a shopkeeper compares the income from sales of a laptop in March and April. We're told that in April, the price is 1/5 more than March, and the number sold is 1/4 less than March. By what fraction does the income from these sales decrease in April? Like I say, guys, the best way to do this, I would say, is to set an initial price and then to work out the change of that price. Let's say that the initial price, so let's say that the price is equal to 100. If the price increases by 1/5, then the sales are going to increase by 1/5. So we can do 1/5 times by 100, and that is going to give us 20. And then we can add that on. We get 120 as the new price. The number sold, though, decreases by 1/4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find 1/4. Let me just make that a bit clearer. 100 plus 20 equals 120. Now we're going to decrease this by 1/4. We're going to do 1/4 times by 120. 1/4 times 120 is 30. And we're going to take it away because it decreases by that number. So we're going to do 120 minus 30, and that is going to give us 90. What's the overall change then as a fraction of the initial price? Well, we go from 100 to 90, which is a change of 10. So 100 minus 90 equals 10, so the change is 10. And what is that as a fraction of the initial price? Well, the initial price was 100, so this, guys, is going to have, or going to be our answer, I should say, 10 over 100. 10 over 100. The overall decrease in price was 10 in the case where it was 100 as the initial price. So we divide that by the initial price. We get 10 over 100 as our answer. If we wanted to, guys, we could simplify. We get 1 over 10 dividing top and bottom both through by 10, but we don't have to there. Somebody said, could you just write 10%? You couldn't write 10% because it does say by what fraction does the income decrease. A few people saying, could you say 1 over 10? Absolutely. You could have any fraction which is equivalent to 1 over 10. It could be in any form because it doesn't ask us to simplify here. Ree said, what if somebody picked a different number? Would they still get the simplified version? Yes, Ree, they would. Yep. Laura said, could you use any number and it would still work? Yes, you can. It was particularly nice with 100 because the fractions worked out to be whole numbers. If you chose 10, for example, you'd be working with some decimals. Yeah, you could have used any starting number. Let's have a look. Any more questions? Nope. Okay. Question 24 on the screen. 5 marks up for grabs here. Let's see what we can do. Nice to see that there's still 240 of us on for this evening shift. Famalam, if you're on the chat, would you mind setting up a quick poll for me? We're going to vote off 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. again. So guys, I'm kind of switching a little bit between 5 to 7 and 7 till 9. I'm going to go with whichever option is best for most people. So if that poll does go up, if not, I'll set it up in a second. But please could as many people as possible vote on whether they would prefer, thank you Famlam Cuz, on whether they would prefer 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the stream or 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I think 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. is a little bit more chilled out. I think it's a little bit more kind of after dinner vibes, a little bit more chilled out. Family said, I don't know if you want 6 till 8. It was on the old one. Yeah, 6 till 8 is perfect as well. 6 till 8 is perfect. But yeah, the 7 till 9 slot, I think it's a little bit more chilled out into the evening. The 5 till 7 slot is probably a bit more intense. It's people's main revision for the night. I'm happy to do either, so I'm going to go with the majority. Guys, 230 of us on the stream at the moment. We only have 34 votes at the moment. 7 till 9 is by far the most popular at the moment. 7 till 9 is by far the most popular. We have 11% saying 5 till 7. We have 14% saying 6 till 8. And we have 75% saying 7 till 9. The people have spoken. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you, Soph. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you, Aiden Smith. Guys, thank you for letting me know. Okay, question number 24, guys. 5 marks up for grabs. Let's have a look. The question says, work out the value of 2 to the power of 14 divided by 2 to the power of 9 to the power of 2. Give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. Guys, this is a super hot topic. I think this is going to come up in your paper 1. Let's have a look. Laws of indices, what do we do? The first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to simplify our 2 to the power of 9 to the power of 2. When we have a number to a power and we raise that to another power, what we do is we multiply those two powers together. In this case, we're going to do 9 times by 2. So we're going to have 2 to the power of 14 divided by 2 to the power of 9 times by 2. That's going to be 18. When we have a number to a power and we raise it to another power, we multiply those powers. How do we simplify this? 2 to the power of 14 divided by 2 to the power of 18. When we have a number to a power and we divide it by the same number to another power, what we do is we subtract those powers. So we're going to do 14 minus 18, which is minus 4, giving us 2 to the power of minus 4 as our answer. It does ask us to give our answer as a fraction in its simplest form. How do we convert this into a fraction? Well, when we have a number to a negative power, what we do is we do 1 over whatever that power, or whatever that, power otherwise would have been. In this case, 2 to the power of negative 4, so it's going to be 1 over 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and we effectively then do 4 times 4. That's going to be 16, so we get 1 over 16 as our answer to that one. Guys, that's going to be the simplified version. Nice to anybody who got that right. Nicely done, Riley. Good work, my friend. 24b, what about this one? The question says, work out the value of 25 to the power of 3 over 2. So this one wants us to use our knowledge of fractional powers. What do we do, guys, when we have a number to a fractional power? What we do is we do the root of whatever number is on the bottom of the fraction, and then we raise it to the power of whatever number is on the top of the fraction. In this case, we have a 2 on the bottom of the fraction, so we do a square root, and a 3 on the top, so we cube it. The square root of 25, what do we times by itself to get 25? We do 5 times by 5, so the square root of 25 is going to be 5, and then we cube that. We have 5 times by 5 times by 5, and that, guys, nicely done to everybody in the chat who got that, is going to be 125. Nicely done, Homelander. Nicely done, La Sadiku, nice name. Nicely done, Ralph. Nicely done, Happy Face. Nicely done, Bolu. Nicely done, Jatao B. What a cool name. Nicely done, AH. Got them green ticks out as normal. Well done, mate. Well done. Okay, guys, question 25 on the screen. And I'm just going to do this one for you. I'm just going to do this one for you because I know a lot of people don't have the paper printed off. And this is a really tricky one. This is a really tricky one, and it's only worth 2 marks. Let's have a look. The question says, here is a sketch of y equals cos x for values of x from 0 to 360. Here is a sketch of a graph of y equals cos x for values of x from 0 to 360. We're told that cos of x is equal to cos of 60. Then we're asked to work out the value of x when x is between 90 and 360. Very difficult question here. Guys, what do we do? This question is basically asking us to work out when the graph is at the same height over here as it is when x is equal to 60 over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to recognize that each of these intervals is worth 30 degrees. That's because there are 3 gaps and it goes up to 90. So we have cos 30, cos 60, cos 90. Then what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line up to our graph at 60, because that's going to tell us the value of cos 60, and we can see that it's over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to read across to the other side of our graph and see when the graph goes back up to the same value as when it's at cos 60. So we read down here, and we can see that it's, I've not drawn that perfectly, but we can see that it's 1 unit past that 270. We said previously that each unit was worth 30, so this is going to be 300, because 270 plus 30 is 300. 300 degrees, guys, that's going to be our answer to 25A. Guys, if you got that, congratulations. Definitely a difficult question there. Very few people will have gotten that. Nicely done, Bolu, and anybody in the chat who did get that. But if you didn't, again, don't let this one stress you out, because this is a difficult one. This is a difficult one. Okay, 25B. This time it says that cos of x is equal to minus cos 60. Work out the value of x when x is between 180 and 360. So we're going to do a very similar thing here, but this time we're going to want to find the value of x when cos of x is equal to negative cos of 60. Cos of 60 we said was equal to a half. It was halfway up here between the 0 and 1. Now we have negative cos of 60. So we want the value of x, which is in line with negative a half. Oh, I want a straight line, not a wonky one. And we go across like this. We then read up to our line, and we see that it's in line with this one here. This is 1 unit below, or 1 space on the graph below 270. Again, we said that each of those spaces was worth 30, so this is going to be in line with 240. Now, a few of you might be thinking, why did we read up from this point instead of this point? Well, we wanted the value of x when x was between 180 and 360, in other words, in this region here. That's why we went for this one instead of what would have been this one. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Nicely done, Aisha. Please don't spam the chat, though, guys. Nicely done, Dubu. If you got that one, guys, again, very, very well done. Difficult question there. Difficult question there. Jake says, why minus a half? The reason that we did minus a half was because it was equal to minus cos of 60. We saw here that cos of 60 was a half, so we wanted where we had essentially minus a half. Okay, guys, question 26 on the screen. Let's have a look. Another difficult question here, guys. To be honest, this is quite a difficult paper. Quite a difficult paper. But you guys are doing an awesome job making the progress. Looking at the chat now for the first time in quite a while. Any questions, let me know. AM said, don't you combine the ratios or something? That is exactly what you need to do. Savannah Delors said, how many questions left? Only 4 questions left, guys. Let me just have a very quick look. Yep, only 30 questions. And the next few are not worth too many marks. I think we're going to be finished in about 20 minutes. I think we're going to be finished in about 20 minutes. Hey, thank you very much, Aiden. I appreciate that. Jack said, what's the mock of this paper out of? It's out of 80. HD Fry said, I'm invested. Come on, I'm guessing maybe you just joined for this question. Awesome. Who's here on the YouTube? I know I've not looked at the chat for a while, guys. Let me know if you're here. Let me know who's here. Is Mary B here? Charles, are you still here? Hassan, are you here? Isaac, are you still here? Gloria, are you still here? Let me know, let me know. Let's see. Diaz here. Thank you, Diaz. Charles, are you still here? I think Charles just put another comment. Somebody asking whether this is calculated. This one's a non-calculated paper. Hassan, nice. Charles, nice. Good work, guys. If you haven't seen it already, guys, I dropped my hot topics list for paper 1. So make sure to check that out. Don't want you to miss out on that. Let's see. Okay, guys, let's have a look at question 26. How do we do this one? The question says that B is 2/3 of C. It then tells us that 5A is equal to 4C. And we're asked to work out the ratio of A to B to C. And then we're asked to give our answer in its simplest form, where A, B, and C are integers. Guys, what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to convert these into equations which show clearly the relationship between B and C and A and C. Let's have a look. we're told that B is 2/3 of C. So we can say that B is equal to 2/3 of C. That one wasn't too bad. What about 5A equals 4C? Well, at the moment, the A is not on its own. How do we get the A on its own? It's being multiplied by 5 at the moment, so we're going to divide both sides of our equation by 5. We're going to get that A is equal to 4/5C. Where do we go from there? Well, now we have enough information to set up our initial ratio. If we want the ratio of A to B to C, and we know that B is 2/3 of C and A is 4/5 of C, what we can do is we can say that C is equal to 1 in our ratio. If C is equal to 1 and A is 4/5 of C, then A is going to be 4/5 when C is 1. If B is equal to 2/3 of C, for the exact same logic, or reason I should say, B is going to be 2/3. This, guys, is now a ratio which we can rewrite to be in its simplest form, where A, B, and C are integers. What we're going to do is we're firstly going to multiply all of our parts by 5 to get rid of the 5 on the bottom of this fraction. 4/5 times by 5, the times and the divide cancel out. 2/3 times by 5, we times the top by 5, we get 10/3. 1 times 5 is 5. Now the exact same logic, we're going to times all of our terms by 3. Let me just write that times 5 in there. We're going to times all of our parts by 3 to get rid of the 3 on the bottom of that fraction. 4 times by 3, that's going to be 12. 10/3 times by 3, that's going to be 10. That divide by and times by 3 cancel each other out. And 5 times by 3, guys, that is going to be 15. Now we have a ratio, A to B to C, split up. And this is also in its simplest form. Guys, talk to me in the chat. How was that one? I know there's a lot of you who wouldn't have got that question right, but maybe it makes sense now. Let me know in the chat. Did that one kind of click for anybody when I explained it? Did we get that one? Aisha, quite a few people are saying, yeah, Soph saying that one was hard. A lot of people are saying that one was hard. RB said wrong. Unfortunately, RB, it's not wrong. Well, unfortunately for you. Let's see. Somebody said makes sense now. Riley said it makes sense now. Guys, if that one makes sense now and didn't make sense before, you know what that means. That means that we're making progress. That means we're making progress. So congratulations if you're in that group. A lot of people are saying, why is C 1? We set C to 1 just so we can easily do ratios for, or do parts for A and B. We know that B is 2/3 of C, and we know that A is 4/5 of C, which means that when C is equal to 1, A is going to be equal to 4/5, because 4/5 is 4/5 of 1, and B is equal to 2/3 because 2/3 is 2/3 of 1. That's how we get the 4/5 and then 2/3. It's also why we set it equal to 1. If we wanted to, we could have gone straight to the 15 and skipped this working out. I think it's just easier to start with 1, use that as a reference point, and then work up from there. A lot of people are saying, oh, it makes sense now. Let's see. Nicely done, Ryan. Nicely done, AM. Guys, if you were in the group where that didn't make sense and now it makes sense, congratulations. Let me also say, if that one still makes no sense at all, and you're thinking, what is going on here? I thought I knew ratios, but I don't get this. Don't let it stress you out. Very difficult ratios question there. Very difficult ratios question there. Okay, question 27 on the screen. 4 marks up for grabs here. We are really on the home stretch now, guys, and it's almost time to chill out for the evening, knowing that we have done yet another past paper, and we are yet another day closer. Okay, Mary B said, I can't stay for the whole thing as I have to revise religious studies. Es tut mir leid, which for anybody who doesn't speak German means I'm sorry. Hey, Mary, no worries at all. No worries at all. Thank you for joining. It's been great to have you as ever. Good luck with the RS tomorrow. At the end of today's session, guys, I'm going to be offering a little bit of advice when it comes to the emotions tomorrow. So, yeah, feel free to stick around for that bit as well. Any questions about that previous one? Let me know. Ghost Play says, good luck for everyone doing RE tomorrow. Yeah, another thing we're going to do, guys, is because we have a wicked community, we have a really strong community, before each of the exams, we're going to do a little mutual good luck thing to bring some good energy, some good vibrations for people. So, yeah, I'll do that bit at the end as well. I'll do that bit at the end as well. Mr. Nobody said, this is giving me PTSD. I'm guessing you did your exams last year. Jake says, thank you, bro. Hey, no worries at all. Let's see. Nikki said, is paper one usually the hardest? It kind of depends on whether you prefer calculator or non-calculator. I know a lot of people find paper one the hardest, that's for sure. Guys, question 27, almost done now. Let's have a look at this one. The question says that Joe wants to work out the solutions of x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. She says that the solutions cannot be worked out because x squared plus 3x minus 5 does not factorize to x plus a times by x minus a, where a and b are integers. Is Joe correct? Tick a box. Guys, Joe is actually incorrect here. Joe is incorrect here. The reason that she's incorrect, or he or she, I don't know, is because factorizing is not the only way to solve a quadratic. We could also use the quadratic formula. So we could also use the quadratic formula. Let me write that out fully. Just to be precise, we could also use the quadratic formula. Guys, I'm actually considering releasing a quadratics masterclass over the next few days to describe and explain how we factorize, complete the square, use the quadratic formula. When we do each of these, let me know with a comment on one of my recent videos if you want me to do that. Let me know with a comment on one of the recent videos because I know quadratics trips a lot of people up. In this case, unfortunately for Joe, she's incorrect because we could also use the quadratic formula. Okay, question 27b. Let's have a look at this one. It says, without expanding any brackets, show how to work out the exact solutions of 9 times by x plus 3 squared equals 4. This, guys, is a classic solving by completing the square question. It doesn't come up too much, to be honest, but when it does come up, not many people tend to get it right. Let's have a look at how to do this. So how do we solve this without expanding the brackets? What we do is we rearrange this like we would rearrange a normal equation. We start off by moving over the things which are furthest away from the x, which in this case starts off as a 9. To move over what is effectively a times by 9, so we have 9 times by x plus 3 squared, what do? We divide both sides by 9. This is going to start off by giving us, and let me just write out the initial equation, equation, x plus 3 squared equals 4. We're going to divide both sides by 9. We're going to get x plus 3 squared equals 4 over 9. Then, guys, what do? We're going to move over that squared. That's going to be the next thing to move over, the next furthest away thing from the x. What's the opposite to squaring a number, guys? It's square rooting a number. So we can square root both sides of the equation. We're going to get that x plus 3 is equal to the square root of 4 over 9. However, what's really important here, guys, is not to forget that when we square root a number, there are actually two answers. There's the positive version and there's the negative version, which is why here, to get the two solutions to our quadratic, we're going to have to do plus or minus the square root of 4 over 9. If you think about the square root of 25, there would be two answers. We could either have positive 5 or we could have negative 5. Why? Because negative 5 times by negative 5 is also 25. In the same way, when we square root 4 over 9, we recognize that we could have the positive or the negative version. Where do we go from there? A couple of things we can do. We can subtract 3 from both sides. So we're going to have x equals plus or minus the square root of 4 over 9 minus 3. Now, how do we simplify this? When we have the square root of a fraction, what we can do is we can do the square root of the top divided by the square root of the bottom. In this case, we're going to have x equals plus or minus. The square root of the top is going to be the square root of 4, which is 2, and the square root of the bottom is going to be the square root of 9, which is 3. So we have plus or minus 2 over 3 minus 3. Now, guys, how can we simplify this? What we can do is we can write negative 3 as a fraction over 3 so that it has a common denominator with this one here. Negative 3 is a fraction of 3. What's it going to be? Let me come just over here. Actually, no, I'll just write it down there at the bottom. We have x equals plus or minus 2 over 3 minus 3 as a fraction of 3 is going to be 9 over 3, because if you divided top and bottom by 3, you would get 3 over 1, which is just equal to 3. Now, guys, how do we find our two answers? Well, we firstly do this with the 2 over 3 as a positive number, and then we do it with the 2 over 3 as a negative number. Let's take the 2 over 3 as a positive number first of all. So when we have the positive version, we have that x is equal to 2 over 3 minus 9 over 3. On the top, we have 2 minus 9, which is minus 7. So we end up with minus 7 over 3. What about when x, not when x is positive, sorry, when this is, sorry, when, what about when this is negative instead of positive? We're going to have that x is equal to negative 2 over 3 minus 9 over 3. Minus 2 minus 9 is minus 11, so we get minus 11 over 3. Therefore, guys, we have two answers to this one, and one of those answers, I'll write them up here. The two answers are that x equals minus 7 over 3 or x equals minus 11 over 3. Guys, I took a while to explain that one. Hopefully it made sense. Any questions, let me know. Hey, Nick Spire, thank you for the comment. One of the OGs coming back. Having a look now at the YouTube, at the TikTok chat. Talk to me, guys. How do we find that one? How do we find that? Oh, what's okay. Somebody said. Okay. Thank you, Yaya. Said, man's good at explaining, not gonna lie. Come on. Thank you, mate. Lilia says, thank you, guys. You guys are too kind. Some nice comments coming in tonight. Somebody saying, where does the minus come from? The minus comes from the fact that we have either the positive root or the negative root. Chair says too much for only 3 marks. I would agree with you there. I think this could be a 4 marker. Guys, question number 28 on the screen. The second to last question of the day. And then time for our celebration. Time for our party. Let's have a look. Looking at the chat now, guys. If you had any questions and I missed them, let me know. Amelia said, thank you. Said, you make this sound so much easier. Hey, that's good to know, Amelia. Thank you, Charles Butler. Said, that's okay. Actually makes sense now. That is the sweet, sweet sound of progress. Well done, mate. Well done. Savannah says, how many left? Only 2 questions left. This is the second to last question. MV9, I don't do SATs questions. AH said, teaching me more than my teacher at this point. That's good to hear. Well, kind of good to hear, kind of not. Ideally, your teacher would be teaching you loads, but let's see. Any questions, let me know. Hey, the chat's been remarkably good today. We've had only good energy in the chat today. Let's see. AMT said, I miss running the likes. Maybe we'll start doing that again. Amelia said, same, my teacher is useless, to be fair. There's nothing worse than having a bad teacher at school, guys. It's so annoying. Somebody asking when is foundation. Next foundation paper will be in a few days. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm going to not do a live tomorrow because of the biology. But we'll be back on it soon. It's Scopy saying, has got to be the most popular question at this point. What did you get in your GCSE maths? I got a 9. Homelander says, do the question, man. Guys, let me know. Are we ready? Drop ready in the chat if you're ready. And we'll talk about this one. Let's have a look. Are we ready for this one? I've given you a while. Soph said my brain just blanked. Yeah, you could be tired at this point. Let's have a look, guys. Question 28. A difficult one here. It is a SERDS question. Another super important question ahead of our paper 1. It is a hot topic. Okay, simplify the square root of 80 plus the square root of 2 and 2/9. Guys, what are we going to do? When it comes to simplifying SERDS, we write them as the square root of a square number times by the square root of another number. So in the case of the square root of 80, what we can do is we can write this as the square root of 16 times by the square root of 5. That's because 16 times by 5 is 80. And the square root of 16, we know and we can calculate, is 4. The reason that we write it as the square root of a square number times by the square root of a regular number is so that we can calculate this square root. So we've simplified this root 80. What about this root 2 and 2/9? Well, the first step to this, guys, is going to be to rewrite this mixed number as an improper fraction. How do we do that? Well, we're going to have the square root of, we can do 2 times by 9, which is 18, and then 18 plus 2, that's going to give us 20. So we have 20 over 9, writing that as a regular number, or a improper fraction, I should say. Where can we go from there? Well, we recognize that to work out the square root of a fraction, we can do the square root of the top over the square root of the bottom, so we have root 20 over root 9. Root 20, we can rewrite this as the square root of 4 times by the square root of 5. That's because 4 times by 5 is 20, and 4 is a square number, so we can calculate the square root of it. On the bottom, we have the square root of 9, which is 3. Moving on from here, the square root of 4, guys, that's 2, as I said, so we have 2 root 5 over 3. Now the question becomes, how can we calculate root 80 plus the square root of 2 and 2/9? So we have 4 root 5 plus 2 root 5 over 3. We have 4 root 5 plus 2 root 5 over 3. We recognize that we have the same number inside the surd, which is great, but this is currently a fraction. To add these, we're going to need the same numbers on the bottom of our fractions. How would we write this as a number over 3? Well, what we would have to do is times the 4 root 5 by 3, so we'd have 12 root 5 over 3 plus 2 root 5 over 3. Where do we go from there? 12 root 5 plus 2 root 5, that, guys, is going to be 14 root 5. We add the numbers outside and leave the numbers inside, and what are we going to have on the bottom? We have 3. Therefore, guys, our final answer to this one, 14 root 5 over 3. Hey, guys, I'm starting to see some beef in the chat. Let's have a look. What's popping? It seems like FortniteNews.discord is trying to ruin things. Guys, should we do it? Yeah, let's get... Oh, I went off my own stream. 1 second. Guys, let's get a ceremonial round of applause in the chat for Fortnite Geezer because he's spending his evening trying to ruin everybody else's revision. Guys, let's get a round of applause. Let's get a round of applause and a cheerio. I haven't been seeing the chat, so I couldn't say bye. Yep, Fortnite News Discord, he's going to try and say something. Yeah, he's going to keep going. Guys, thank you for the round of applause. Ghost Plays is clapping. Faithful Adentine is going. Kaiden's clapping. Ruben's clapping. Chair's clapping. Ryan's clapping. Guys, congratulations. AMT says goodbye, Fortnite. Yep, guys, question 29 is on the screen. And next time something comes in the chat from him, I'll get him out. Jake says, see ya. See, the thing is, guys, when there's 350 of us, someone joining the chat, trying to ruin the energy, they're never going to win. So they're always going to try and put some reply and say, oh, thank you for the clapping. Oh, whoa, whoa. When there's 300 on one, mate, and you're the one casting the bad energy, unfortunately, you can't win. Question number 29. This is, our second to last question. Sorry, guys, I told a lie. There's 30 questions in the paper. Sorry about that. Okay, somebody's apologizing. Unfortunately, no excuse. You're going to be blocked, my friend. Okay, question number 29 and then question 30. I'm sorry, guys. I think I said there were 29 questions. I'm sorry about that. Oh, wow, someone's coming for me. George Muddy Man, you're 24 and making TikTok lives. Is that really what you're going to say? Is that really the thing to try and, like, take the mick out of the host of the live? You're 24 and teaching 300 people at the same time on TikTok. Unfortunately, mate, you just can't go down that route. You can't go down that route. And you're, however old you are, trying to put someone down for teaching on the internet. So, mate, I'm going to say hasta luego. Thank you for a bit more entertainment for the chat. You've made a lot of people smile. I appreciate it very much. Guys, question 29. Let me know when you're ready. Sam's clapping. Ruben Tuteki is clapping. Thank you, Brody. Guys, thank you very much. The chat's got my back. Thank you very much. I just think it's entertaining for people to entertain it, you know? I just think it's entertaining for people. And guys, when there's 300 of us on and 99% of people are working hard, guys, it's always going to be good. Okay, let's have a look at question 29A then. What's it going to be? It says here are sketches of two graphs. We have graph A and we have y equals x squared minus 1. It says that the graph of y equals x squared minus 1 is translated 3 units to the left to give graph A. We're told that the equation of graph A can be written in the form y equals x squared plus bx plus c. Work out the values of b and c. Guys, what are we going to do? Here we're told that the graph is translated 3 units to the left. What do we do to the equation of a graph when it's been translated 3 units to the left? Well, the effect, or the translation I should say, is happening directly, or it's happening in the x direction, so we're going to apply it directly to the x, and we're moving to the left, so we're going to add 3 directly to our x. We're going to have that y is equal to x plus 3 squared minus 1. Y is equal to x plus 3 squared minus 1. Because it's happening in the x direction, we do it directly to the x, and because we're going left, we add 3. We want to write it in the form y equals x squared plus bx plus c, so guys, we're going to simplify this. X plus 3 squared, so we can write this as y equals x plus 3 times by x plus 3, and then we copy down our minus 1. How do we expand these double brackets? We're going to use our FOIL method. So we're going to do our first outer inner last. We do x times by x, that's going to be x squared. X times by 3, that's going to be 3x. 3 times by x, that's going to be 3x. 3 times by 3, that's going to be 9. And then we're going to copy down that minus 1. Simplifying this, collecting our like terms, 3x plus 3x, guys, is going to be 6x. We're going to have y equals x squared plus 6x. Then we have plus 9 minus 1. That's going to become plus 8. What does the question ask us for? It asks us for b and c, where the answer is in the form y equals x squared plus bx plus c. Our b is the number next to the x. Here it's going to be 6. And our c is the number on the end. Here it's going to be 8. Guys, congratulations if you got that one. Moving on to the final page. I think the guy's still in the chat. Sorry, guys, I didn't actually click to mute him. I thought he would just leave himself. There we go. I'll click it now. Okay, hasta luego, mate. There we go, blocked. Okay. Goodbye, my friend. Sorry I didn't get him out earlier, guys. Now he's actually blocked. Okay. Hopefully that didn't disrupt us too much. Thank you for... Jake said there's another guy being spammy. What's his name? Or his or her name? I'll get them out when I next see it. Okay, guys. Question 29B and question 30. The other thing that they don't realize, guys, is when people like try and disrupt the chat and say all this stuff, it brings more people to the stream. It brings more people to the stream. Why? Because the comments start blowing off. They see there's a little bit of beef, and then everybody gets entertained. So by trying to disrupt the stream, they make the stream bigger. It's the best thing. Okay, question 29B. Sorry, that was based on the previous one. So I'll go through that now. It says the graph of y equals x squared minus 1 is reflected in the x-axis to give graph B. Work out the equation of graph B. Guys, this one's only a 1 marker, so I'll go through it now. What's it going to be? Well, if we think about reflecting a graph in the x-axis, what happens? Every value that was above the axis in the positive y direction ends up below the axis in the negative y direction. So every value that was y becomes negative y. Every value that was a positive y becomes a negative y when you reflect in the x-axis, so we can simply write this as minus y equals x squared minus 1. Every value that was positive in the y direction becomes negative in the y direction. Okay, guys, are we ready for the last one of the day? I'm just going to give you a hint. Here we have our exact trig values question. If you didn't see, I did release a video about this today. Now is time to get them learned, but I will tell you this for now, just to make things a little bit easier. The value of cos 30 is equal to the square root of 3 over 2. The value of tan 60 is equal to the square root of 3. And the value of sine 30 is equal to a half. So guys, I'm going to give you another 30 seconds, and then we can go through it. More people trying to disrupt the stream. AI content couldn't even muster up a message, just put the thumbs down. Adios, my friend. Hopefully nobody else is spamming. Let's see. Question number 30, guys. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one, and we'll talk about it. Question number 30. Thank you, Puya, for clapping. A few people thinking it's 2. Loveheart thinks it's 2. Zyme is saying 6. Guys, final question of the day. Let's have a look and see what we can do. Then we're going to throw our party. You know how we do. So, last question. It says, show that the value of cos 30 times by tan 60 plus sine 30 is an integer. What we're going to do, guys, is swap out all of our exact trig values for their numbers. Cos 30 is equal to the square root of 3 over 2, so we can write root 3 over 2. We're going to times that by tan 60, which is equal to root 3. And then we're going to add that to sine 30, which is equal to a half. Multiplying root 3 over 2 by root 3. Well, root 3 is the same as root 3 over 1. Now we can think of this as doing the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. The square root of 3 times the square root of 3, that's going to be the square root of 9, which is just 3, over 2 times by 1 is 2. We can rewrite this 3 over 2 plus a half. 3 over 2 plus a half, guys. We have the same number on the bottom, so we can just add the tops. 3 plus 1 gives us 4 on the top. We're left with 2 on the bottom. Finally, guys, our last simplification of the day. 4 over 2, we can divide top and bottom both by 2, or just do 4 divided by 2. Either way, we're going to end up with 2 as our final answer to our final question. To anybody who got that right, guys, congratulations. That was the final question of today's session, and now it's time for the party. I'm just going to stick around for a second. Amelia, you're very welcome. Thank you, Puya, for clapping. Jataub says, makes sense now. That, my friend, is the sweet, sweet sound of progress. Well done. Pascal's clapping. Thank you very much, S. Let's have a look. Ree, you're very welcome, guys. I can't see any questions. A couple of people are asking me to do EdXL. Don't worry, guys. Next paper will be EdXL. It is time for our party, guys, and you know what that means if you're a regular here. Guys, let's spam the chat full of emojis. I want party emojis, disco emojis. I want confetti emojis, bottles popping, whatever it might be. Why, guys? Because another day is done and another past paper is complete. We're putting in the work and it's going to pay off. Famalam's partying, Katie's partying, Dan is looking cool, Connor Long's partying, Grace is partying, got the bottles popping, S is partying, 11's got those ears out, AMT's partying. Let's have a look on the YouTube. Nicely done, Dia. Ruben's partying, Zym's partying, Nikki's partying, Faithful's getting his head blown, awesome. Amelia's partying, AH is partying, E's got that disco dancing out. Come on, I think, guys, either I'm going to look super silly or this is going to look cool. But I think if I do this, yeah, we got some balloons. Okay, so it's going to work. And if I do this, I think confetti is going to come. I think. Oh, come on. Don't make me look silly. Confetti? Yeah, okay, nice confetti. That's super cool. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you, everybody who participated in the party. Awesome session again. Charles Butler's partying over on the YouTube. Good to have you on. Savannah says, congratulations. Guys, I want to take this moment. I want you to take this moment. Actually, I said this last night, but I'm going to say it again today because it's super, super important. Sit back in your chair like this. Sit back in your chair, which you've never done for a start. Maybe you've done that a bit, but sit back in your chair and take a moment to appreciate the work that you're putting in. Give yourself a quick pat on the back, which you definitely haven't done in a very long time. Give yourself a quick pat on the back because you're putting in the work. You're doing exactly what you need to do ahead of exams starting either tomorrow or Friday or next week for some of you, and it will pay off. It will pay off. So, guys, congratulations. I'm not going to waffle too much tonight. I'm going to head off fairly soon because I do have to go. But if there's any specific questions, let me know now. I'll try and answer them. S said, did it yesterday. Yeah, that's fair, to be fair. If you were on the stream yesterday, you would have done it yesterday. Jake said, ready for RE tomorrow. Guys, very good luck tomorrow if you're starting with your RE exams. If you're not starting with RE tomorrow, you're probably starting with biology on Friday. And if you're in that group, good luck to you as well. Good luck to you as well. I'll be putting a little message out in the Discord server, wishing everybody luck. Let's have a look. Aiden said, I wish I found you earlier, man, because you actually helped so much. Hey, my friend, well, at least you found us now. At least you found us now. We're only just getting going. We're only just getting going. Savannah Dollar said, when is your next live? I'm not going to be going live tomorrow, guys. I'm not going to be going live tomorrow, but I'll be going live after that. Next one on Friday, and we'll be cooking from there. Kieran said, yo, Wagwan, I missed it all. Hey, no worries, man. You can join tomorrow. The YouTube's dying out now. TikTok was still at 220. But, guys, I think I'm going to say hasta luego now. I'm going to say goodbye. Huge congratulations to everybody who did this evening's session. Best of luck for the exams which are coming up. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Savannah. Thank you very much, Sophie. I appreciate it. Goodbye, Jake. My pleasure, guys. It's been great having you this evening. Best of luck, like I say. Hasta luego. Arrivederci. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.